Hey, what's up, everybody? So today I want to talk a little bit about defunding the police. I know that's a very difficult concept for us to unpack together, but we want to try because it's very important and very relevant to the situation that's happening right now across the globe in terms of the protests and against police brutality. So basically, let's start with what is defunding the police and what does that mean, right? So in terms of how much I know about it, which is not very much, I'll be honest with you. I've spent the last couple weeks, kind of trying to digest it and unpack it in my own mind because it is sort of a new concept for me personally. And I sort of needed to come to terms with whether or not that was something, I agreed with and if I completely understood what it was. But the more I looked into it, the more I started to understand that it's actually a really good thing. Because defunding the police is important, and the major reason for that is because over the last 60 or so years, police budgets have been increasing exponentially. In Chicago, I think the police budget is something like over $1 billion, and we can see that it has been gone to fund and militarize the police, not necessarily make them more effective at doing police work. The reason why we can tell those things is from different crime statistics. For example, in terms of murder cases, I think it's about 70% of murder cases get solved. Then it goes down from there, and I think it's about 35% for robberies and thefts and things like that, and then rapes it's about 15%. So when, people want to say, hey, like, if you defund the police, then who's going to protect you against, getting murdered, and who's going to protect you against, rape and things like that? Well, as far as, we can tell from the data, the police haven't been doing very effective job at stopping those crimes or even bringing justice to the victims of those crimes at a very good rate with the massive budgets that they have right now. So it wouldn't make sense logically to go ahead and keep increasing the funding towards police departments when they're not effective in being officers of safety. So once we can sort of start to scale back the police department's budget, we can reallocate those funds to target areas where we know that actually affect the crime rates. So we know that undereducated communities commit more crimes. We know that poorer communities commit more crimes. Piper, no. And we know that Black communities and other communities of colors, are more prone to be involved in crime. So what we can do is we can target those areas, and we can take the money from the police budget, and we can shift those resources over to marginalized communities, towards the education systems there, towards creating accessible, nutritious food, ending food deserts, supplying more funds for community programs and things like that. Basic resources that communities need to thrive that underserved communities don't, which leads them to fall into patterns of crime. And we know these are hard facts. They really can't be argued. So when we think about defunding police, it's not like actually you just get rid of the police all of a sudden one day, hey, you guys can all go, get new jobs or whatever. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, slowly scaling back that budget and reallocating those resources. At the same time, by scaling back those budgets, it's going to have to force the police to sort of streamline their processes a little bit more, because they won't have as many resources to just kind of, overexpend on new police vehicles every single year, or upgrading their weapon systems and things like that. So basically that's what defunding the police means, and that's what I've broken it down to. Now I've heard people say, oh, defund the police is not good language to use. I don't care about that. I mean, it's basically, if you read into what the concept is, the name doesn't matter whatsoever, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it reallocation of resources, if you want to call it, community enhancement involved in safety or whatever, whatever you want to call it, is all the same thing. It's the concept that really matters. So I don't care about the semantics of the actual name of it. I think that a lot of people don't understand that that's what it is, and so people are just confused, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to defund the police because there's gonna be anarchy in the streets," and it's like, no, there won't be anarchy in the streets if we defund the police from their $1.8 billion budgets. The other thing I will say about that is that defunding the police is also gonna make them have to, find better ways to be more effective. So what a lot of people have been, pointing out is that police officers don't get enough training. I think it's something like a 12-week training program or something like that, and then you're literally assigned a gun in a neighborhood, and they're like, go. All right, so basically what you get is officers who are jumpy and excited, easily excitable, and you get officers who are, prepared properly for stressful situations. So in terms of, giving them more training, I know this coming from the military, it's trained me to handle high stress situations very, very well, and always maintaining my composure, even in the most, hectic of situations, even with like bombs bursting all around you and things like that. So for me, it's personally, and I know a lot of vets are cops, for me, it's personally really difficult to understand how these police are so scared all the time, because literally, like, I just don't feel like it's that scary all the time out there in these streets. But with that being said, it can be really, like, it can get really real out in the streets, and that is facts, 100% factual. Regular citizens can't go, handle hostage situations at banks, which what cops are. They're just normal citizens. They're not trained for, that kind of, high stress situation. So what we really need is we need people who are used to high stress situations, who can maintain their composure, not be so jumpy, so ready to shoot, and so paralyzed with their own fear that they don't know how else to react besides to pull out their gun and shoot someone. That's the first part of the problem. And the second part of the problem is these cops need to have their psyche evaluated. Which is what I think the level of training needs to be set at the bar of Navy SEALs or something even more of an elite task force like that, because that kind of level of training will really weed out someone who is mentally weak, who has severe mental health issues, because not only do they do very, very intense psychiatric evaluations on those people, but they also put them through very stressful physical situations where if you don't maintain your composure, if you're not fully clear-headed and logical, then you can't get out of those situations alive. Of course, it's just a training exercise, so they'll get you out, but you'll fail the program and you won't be allowed to be a Navy SEAL if you don't pass some of those certifications. So I think that that it really does show a lot when you have that kind of level of training, and you pass and you can get through a training regimen like that, because it shows that you're mentally not going to break under any circumstance whatsoever. And you're always going to be have a level thinking even in the most stressful of situations. And so I think that is what is going to end up happening when we defund the police and kind of streamline the police force, is that they're going to be more of a tactical elite force, sort of like the Navy SEALs, instead of just the regular patrol cops that you see driving around kind of just picking on black people and other people of color, just because of their skin color, just because they don't know any better. They're they're slightly stupid, and they come with their own biases. Not only that, but some of them purposely, are literally KKK members or other members of, right-wing nationalist, racist organizations. And really we just really can't be having that. We need to vet these cops way, way, way better than what we're doing right now. And yeah, so I hope that that is some kind of clarification on what people mean when they talk about defunding the police. And I hope that you guys kind of got some understanding on that. But my dog's about to start barking, so I gotta go. All right, bye.